Alright, what's going on, guys? Try back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Walking Dead discussion topic video for this week after seeing Claimed, and that is going to be talking about is, or is not, the Sanctuary a trap? It's a trap. Right, so as always, my videos do contain spoilers for anyone who is not caught up to current date in the Walking Dead television series, which would be Season 4, Episode 11, Claimed. If you haven't seen it, this will ruin some things for you. So, with regards to the whole sanctuary situation, what do we know? So far, we know that this place has been basically advertised, I want to say, marketed over the radio, at least according to the trailer from SDCC. It's been marketed in terms of signs, around the railway. You saw the big one on the side in Claimed with Rick's group just this Sunday. Then before that, of course, we had Tyrese's group that noticed also a map to the Terminus, or the sanctuary, so to speak, and we're on their way there. Now, some people have pointed out that, I believe this was on Talking Dead. I don't know, I don't watch Talking Dead, so I'm not sure, but they said that Terminus, the name Terminus, was the original name for Atlanta. So what does that mean? Does that mean that that's a location on the map, but that's not the sanctuary? That's kind of up further, or I don't know. Me personally, I felt like Terminus meant the the terminal where they're all the railway is crossing. So a railroad crossing type of situation, like a bus terminal. If you look it up online, you'll see that Terminus is a word used to refer to bus terminals. I'm sure road terminals would be, you could use the same type of name because it's transportation. It's a terminal in between where they all connect, that kind of thing. And it sounds like it's going to be a really cool location, really cool concept. So whether or not it's Atlanta or if it's outside of Atlanta, I don't know. I thought we were pretty far away from Atlanta at this point. I didn't think we were that close to it. I mean, the series started there, of course. In the first episode, Rick goes there. But after that, we haven't been back to Atlanta aside from, the first season. We haven't really heard much about it. So I kind of doubt that we'd be going back to Atlanta or anything of the sort. I think it's a bus or a railroad terminal type situation, which makes for a cool environment, makes for a very cool environment. Now, I haven't really seen any spoilery pictures or anything of the sort to lead me to one conclusion or another in terms of what's been posted online. The best I can make out is what I've heard from people in comments. Some people say that Andrew Lincoln has, cut his hair and shaved. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be totally bogus, but I read it in a comment. So maybe the Terminus, or the sanctuary, is kind of like the Alexandria safe zone. Either that or a new location. Me personally, I did a video talking about the Alexandria safe zone on Sunday as well. I feel like it's a little bit early for that. I think it's a little bit early for us to get there. Now, granted, if they kind of go a different route, which is to sort of mix in the hunters with at the same time as they're kind of bringing in the Alexandria safe zone and kind of mix up the storyline, the plot like that, then I guess it could work. We did kind of see the hunters, at least we think, or some of us think, some disagree, some don't think that the guys that Rick ran into were the hunters. So, I kind of got to watch the episode again to see and make up my own mind on that so far. But it does seem to me like this place, this sanctuary, sounds a little bit like the Alexandria safe zone, even though I think it's too early. If they did go there, it'd be kind of a neat little switch from where they go in the comic book series, and we'll have to see how the whole thing turns out with the Washington, D.C. situation, and whether or not Abraham's group is still going to, head out there. Obviously, Glenn wants to come back, and we're not going to see them head out on the road yet, I don't think. I'd be very surprised if Glenn was like, okay, I'll go, without even seeing Maggie before that. I would think that he would want to hunt her down one way or another, even if she's dead, just to see for sure for himself, and wouldn't believe anyone else no matter what they tell him. That personally, my interpretation of Glenn's character. So we'll have to see how all those elements come together and how they work it all in. But it does seem like, to me, they're kind of using this sanctuary idea as a meeting point for Rick's group to sort of get back together after the events of the prison. We know now at this point that they're basically not going to be going to the farm. We're not going to see that again, which is good because I personally don't really care to see that again. So it all brings up the question, is the sanctuary legit or is it a trap? I've kind of gone back and forth on this one. I've even talked about it in videos and kind of gone back and forth. At first, I said, no, I don't think it's a trap because there was the elderly gentleman with his son. The elderly gentleman was bitten. He was dying. And he saw the baby Judy. He saw the girls. And he said, go up there. It's safe. You can go there and you'll have a chance there. That type of thing. So that being said, what does that mean right now for our characters? Was he telling the truth? Was he lying? Me personally, my interpretation is that he either hasn't been there yet, okay, and was on his way there, which it doesn't look like it because he didn't have much gear. In terms of what I can remember off memory, I don't think they had like any gear with them at all, which means they must be stationed somewhere close, which means that they could be from there. Right? They could actually be from the sanctuary, which is why they had no gear on them. Maybe they were just out looking for supplies or, maybe going to raid some houses for supplies or something of the sort, right? So it seemed to me like they were from there. It's possible that they were headed in that direction. I just think they would have some supplies on them if that's the case. So based on that, I think they must be from there. And if they're from there, I don't see any reason for him to want to tell a group with a baby and two girls to head towards this trap, so to speak. To me, it doesn't add up. So I think personally, based on that logic, it has to be legit. The weird part about it, though, is that it keeps being advertised everywhere. So that's the other side to it, where I'm kind of having trouble making up my mind here, because it seems a little strange to me that they'd be advertising to survivors and people on the radio and through signs and things like that to head towards the sanctuary. It just seems a little bit odd to me. It sounds a little too good to be true. However, the whole idea of the Alexandria Safe Zone is that everybody is pretty much welcome so long as they're cool-headed and they're good type of people in terms of what they consider to be good. And each person is given a job or a task, and they survive by having numbers and giving each person a task and building a big community, which is exactly what happens there. So in that instance, it kind of makes sense too that they would be doing that because they want more people in order to, by their strategy, better their chances. Abraham has the same strategy. You need a lot of people if you want to survive. It's better to have more people. You need each other because then you have better chances of fighting off walkers. You have better chances of just making it all around surviving, right? So that said, I'm leaning towards it being not a trap at this point. It's possible those guys that attacked Rick were from there and it is some kind of a trap or something. But if that was the case, how would they get the characters back together unless Tyrese's group runs into Rick's group on their way there or something of the sort? It doesn't seem legit to me. So for me personally, I think we're going to see some kind of new little small society or group. Rick's group is going to join it, most of them anyway. We'll see what happens with Glenn, Maggie, Daryl, their groups, and all the other characters involved in them. But personally, I say I don't believe it is a trap. I don't think so at this point. It's just a prediction. Could be totally wrong, but I don't think it's a trap at this point. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about the whole idea of the sanctuary being a trap versus not. What your reasons are for believing one or another. That's my logic, and I want to say I'm about 60% leaning towards, or 60% sure that it is legit. It's not a trap, but I don't think it's perfect either. And I think there's going to be a lot of problems there once they get there and they're going to see it. And also, I don't think it's going to be as safe as it claims to be or it seems to be. I don't think anywhere is safe in a zombie apocalypse, especially for our survivors, our survivor cast. In addition to that, I just want to say something about the channel. I've been using a new intro lately. Some people have accused me of copying it from another channel. I don't do that. I don't steal people's stuff. I don't do that at all. To explain, it's basically an older little intro video. It's about a minute and a half or something like that long. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check it out. And it was created by a fan. It was fan-made before the first season of The Walking Dead. So this went back when the comic book series was out, but the TV series had not started yet, like 4 years ago. Part of that, basically, the person had taken parts of the comic book and made a cool little intro with it and posted on the internet pretty much for, free for anybody. Now, there was also music used in it, so that person who made it used content from the comic book series and used a song to go along with it. So even they don't own it themselves. If you want to say somebody actually owns that, open clip, so to speak, or open little sequence, I would have to say it probably would be Image Comics, the owners of the Walking Dead comic book series, or the person who wrote the song. Again, I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check it and see what I mean, but it was brought to my attention after I used it. There is another channel on YouTube that does use it, so I'm going to kind of try not to use it too much. I do like it a lot, though, but I don't want to be using similar type content, even if it is free domain and Image doesn't care that we use it as another channel. I don't want to be doing that. Even if the other channel is not even really like a YouTube channel, it's just somebody posting scans of the Walking Dead comic book series or episodes. It's funny, viewers, they really don't know much about YouTube when it comes to stuff like this. And there's a big difference between a channel like mine where I create my own content. Even if I use pictures here and there from the series or little clips and things like that that are basically released free to anyone to use. Stuff from the comic book series, stuff in my background. If you really want to get anal, technically I shouldn't even be using stuff from The Walking Dead, right? Because it's owned by Image. But, basically what I'm saying is that if you're a person that has a channel, you create all of your own content, for the most part, use a few little things like I do, that's fine. That's a legitimate YouTube channel. But if you're a channel that just posts something that you don't own at all, like 100% of your videos is like a TV series or a comic book series, that's not a legitimate YouTube channel. Saying that I took something from them or I stole something from someone that just posts everything that they don't own anyway is so stupid, because it's like, okay, that's not even a real channel. That's just somebody posting or uploading any type of content they can get their hands on with regards to something, The Walking Dead or whatever. It doesn't have to just be that. There's people all over YouTube that post The Simpsons, that post episodes of TV series, and I don't have a problem with that. But there's a big difference between people that do that and actual YouTube partner channels, especially old partner channels like mine, which is a legit channel. So, just keep that into consideration when you're comparing and doing things like that. I mean, there's some, legit channels on YouTube that actually are creating content for the most part, right? And there's others that are just uploading everything else somebody else owns, right? So, it's think about that for a minute. So go ahead and think about that. But I'm probably not going to use that new intro very much because I was not aware that there was already people using it, even if they haven't uploaded a video for like 5 months or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to think a little bit more about it, but just to touch on that, I didn't mean to steal anybody's intro or anything of the sort. That's free domain, something that's been out for 4 years, and Image doesn't care, and they haven't taken it down from these other channels from 4 years ago. So if I want to use it in my intro, I don't think they would have any kind of problem with that. I'm sure they wouldn't. They don't care. So especially when you got guys that have like 500 videos of their actual comics listed, which should be taken down any day, right? The whole channel should be shut down instantly if Image cared. But they don't. But anyway, just to kind of add on that, just want to let you guys know a little bit of an update. So channel-related stuff. So I may not be using the new intro all that much because I don't like being accused of copying or plagiarizing and stuff. Absolute nonsense. Just ridiculous. Anyway, call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Let me know what you think about the sanctuary, whether or not it's a trap. It's a trap. Same peace.